How's it going, everyone? VenomousStare here. Today I'm going to be bringing you a 2v2 video, and this video is going to be focused on a general concept with Terran versus Zerg that involves the unit compositions you make as a Terran player. The general idea of this video is that you force your Zerg opponent to make a certain unit composition and then directly transfer into something that counters said composition. In this game, the build we're going to elect to do is a Blue Flame Hellion build into Banshee. And our opponents in the blue are two Zerg players, Zorg and Finn. And I have a Zerg ally, so one of the things that's important about 2v2 is whenever you're playing against Double Zerg probably has the most obvious and defined weaknesses. They're severely restricted to the Zergling and the Baneling early. And the thing about 2v2 is the main thing that you have to worry about is two different races teaming up to form these very difficult to deal with compositions. But with Double Zerg, Zerg is kind of the race that's easily exploitable. So in 2v2, whenever someone goes Double Zerg, it's like the weaknesses are magnified times 2. One of the key parts of playing Zerg is you always want to be making drones. This means that if you can delay your gas income in favor of more drones and more bases, that's ideal. Keeping that in mind, I'm going to be targeting my composition to counter Zerglings, because oftentimes Double Zerg players will elect to put on a lot of Zergling pressure early. We see that both of our Zergs in the blue have fast expanded. Savagewood, that's me, the red Terran. I've gone CC first. I'm mining off of both bases. I've taken double gas. And a factory's going to come up. Back in Camp Zerg, friendly Zerg, Baneling nest as well as Lings going up, in addition to the friendly wall. The red team is playing very safe. They're doing a build that defends against most early aggression. As we see Savagewood getting a tech lab. He can either get stim or swapperoo. Looks like he's going to swapperoo. So, and a reactor. So this looks like Blue Flame Hellion. So Savagewood's going to be countering Zergling compositions. A Roachhorn is on the way for Finn, but if we go to income, both Zerg players are at 24. One is getting an Evo Chamber, one a Roachhorn and Lair. So Zorg might be going for some sort of Muta play, whereas Finn is going for Roach. Ling's on the way for Zorg. He's favoring Lings instead of drones. This is important. Anytime a Zerg where you make fighting units unnecessarily that you can't do anything with, you're putting yourself behind. We see Blue Flame starting up here for Savagewood. He's going to lift his barracks up, start another reactor, and then swapperooski this factory onto his reactor. So Savagewood's going to be able to pump 3 Blue Flame Hellions at a time. This will absolutely eviscerate Zerglings. And it will eviscerate Zerglings to the extent where it will counter one Zergling player completely, allowing his ally, Moraine, to surround the player going Roach, whose name is FNN, aka Finn. So that's the benefit of Blue Flame Hellions. You just counter Zerglings so hard, and even before the Blue Flame finishes, these stout little Hellion openers enable your Zerg opponent, your Zerg ally, to not really have to worry about anything. As Zorg is forced to run up the ramp here because he would have just been chased down by the Hellions had he not. He ran right into Banelings. That's the benefit of opening Hellions like this, especially with Blue Flame. You counter lots of Zergling-based aggression, especially Zergling-based aggression that commits off creep. Hydra Den on the way from Finn, as we see the Roach player starting to produce Roaches. Many players would cite this as, oh, well, this is what you do when your opponent goes Blue Flame Hellion. This is the counter. If we go to the income tab, the person who is being forced to make Roaches, Finn, has an absurdly low amount of drones. This is the problem with making roaches. You have to start mining gas, and it severely inhibits your income because you're making roaches which cost gas to be mined, and then you're also not making drones with the larvae. So Finn is having to commit to stop these Hellions. Savagewood has 13 at this point, a staggering figure. He's also gone 2 starport behind this with double tech lab. This means that Banshee is on the way almost certainly, and it means that these roaches are in very big trouble. So Savagewood has forced a roach response from his Zerg opponent, completely countering Hellions in the early game, and then gone into something that absolutely obliterates, and I mean obliterates, roaches, the Banshee. Zorg, also fearing Blue Flame Hellion, has elected to go Roach. Again, if we go to income, both Zerg players in blue have been so scared by all these Hellions on this somewhat open map, they've been forced to make lots of aggressive units. Spire on the way for Moraine, as Savagewood has a plethora of fire cars here, 16 Blue Flame Hellions, as well as a third base on the way. So Savagewood has gone into this 2-port Banshee with cloak play after making Hellions. He's also making a tank, and he's upgrading. Moraine is pretty much just saving money here for mutas. And FNN, aka Finn, is peeking around. He's seeing if he can see anything of importance. Ooh, but Moraine chases him away from the spire. So Finn misses critical information. He does have a Hydralisk den murphing into a lurker den, and some drones on the gold, but if we go to income, he's doing average, producing roaches still. He wants to be producing Hydras here, but he's scared. He also doesn't want to produce many Hydra against these Blue Flame Hellion. Finn does scout the 2-port Banshee, but it is a bit late here as the Spire has completed. Savagewood has a plethora of Blue Flame Hellions. He screams forward along with the Banshee, as Finn doesn't really have any units that can shoot up. Lots of Banelings came in here and killed drones. Savagewood morphing half of his Hellions into Hellbats, and now licking the roaches with Blue Flame. Savagewood completely surrounding his opponent, as Zorg desperately tries to put down spines, realizing that the mech force is incredibly powerful. Savagewood sieges a tank here. This is going to do a lot of damage because it has exceptional meat shield and cover. Blue Flame Hellions of Savagewood are sprinting forward. +1 is almost done. Mutas from Moraine completely catching the blue team by surprise. The blue team, of course, was massing roaches, trying to stop this mech pressure with Hellions. And if we look at FNN, he has way too much gas. This is a sign of constantly being pressured while you're going roach. It forces you to make roaches when you want to be making drones, and it allows the red team to entrap their opponents into getting caught on roach compositions, which is exactly what Savagewood wanted and exactly what Moraine wanted after he went Mutalisk. And Moraine is going to kill drones, and FNN does not have a lot left. His gold base has been completely sacked. Savagewood is continuing to macro and send mech units forward. Blue Flame Hellions decimate Hydralisks because Hydralisk are light units. Savagewood will run his Banshee away and check for other bases. But in the meantime, Moraine kills a base. So the blue team is very far behind. They pretty much just have this gold base left, as this gold and this gold have both fallen. Savagewood could have done many different follow-ups after his enormous Blue Flame Hellion 2-starport Banshee play, but he elected to be Billy Badass and go for 4-starport BC. This is a great build, especially when your Zerg opponent is behind. Really and truly, you have to mass quite a big anti-air to deal with BCs because they just have so much health, especially with support units. Any Hydralisk trying to get in range of the BCs will be pummeled by tanks and Blue Flame Hellions. Meanwhile, Morani is doing damage. This was not a coordinated 2v2, by the way, this was random. So in review, in order to deal with Double Zerg, I like to open Hellion with Blue Flame to stop the early Zergling aggression, and after that go into 2 Starport Banshee to deal with the incoming Roach. It works very well if your ally does something that counters Muta, or at least deals with it. And that's the game. So, if you want to deal with Double Zerg in 2v2, or even you can apply these concepts to 1v1 and deal with Zerg by making them go into certain compositions and then just countering it. If you enjoyed this, subscribe.